Welcome back, Deep Divers. Akiva here, and I'm genuinely excited to jump back into our ongoing journey through the book of Samuel with you. Every chapter we explore just, peels back more layers, revealing incredible insights. Today, we're really going to unpack something powerful.
And I'm Rachel, thrilled to guide you through, one of the most iconic stories in all of history, David and Goliath, found in 1 Samuel chapter 17. Our deep dive today is illuminated by the extraordinary commentary of Ariel Louis. What makes his work so compelling is how it's deeply inspired by his late father, Rabbi David Louis, and thoughtfully produced with his son, Yehuda Louis. It's fully rooted in the profound teachings of the sages of Israel, yet delivers these ancient truths with such fresh, transformative clarity for, our modern lives.
That's what makes this commentary so unique. It doesn't just explain the text. It explores the prophetic pulse within it, offering a profound meditation on kingship, human growth, and divine vision. It's not about just understanding what happened thousands of years ago, but understanding its urgent relevance for our own times. We see how these prophetic voices defy fatalism, inspire genuine change, and sort of light the way for true leadership in every generation.
Exactly. And this isn't a standalone tale. If you've been with us from the start of our Samuel series, you'll remember Samuel's emergence as a prophet, the struggle to establish his authority, and that defining national split. Some saw prophecy as mere superstition. Others truly embraced spiritual rebirth and repentance. All those threads have been converging, leading us right here to the pivotal chapter of Saul's rejection as king and David's divine selection. This is where those spiritual currents truly collide and, reshape history.
So our mission for this deep dive is to go beyond the surface of this familiar narrative. We're going to uncover the profound, often unseen, layers of meaning within its verses. Our aim is to show you how prophetic voices, particularly David's, actively challenge the idea of predetermined outcomes, inspiring us towards repentance and a different kind of leadership that absolutely resonates with us today. Get ready, because this is far more than just a children's story.
Okay, let's set the stage for this legendary confrontation. The narrative opens with the Philistines gathering their armies at Soko, a town belonging to Judah. In response, Saul and the men of Israel pitched their camp in the Vale of Elah. Picture this: Philistines on one mountain, Israel on another, with this wide, tension-filled valley stretched out between them.
And into this charged valley steps the Philistine champion, Goliath of Gath. The Bible paints an incredibly imposing picture of him. He's of immense height, standing 6 cubits, and a span tall that's roughly, 9.5 feet. Huge. He's clad in a heavy brass helmet, a coat of mail weighing 5,000 shekels of brass. That's about 125 pounds. A truly staggering burden. He has brass greaves on his legs, a brass javelin between his shoulders, and his spear shaft is described as being like a weaver's beam, topped with an iron spearhead weighing 600 shekels. That's a 15-pound iron tip. He is, quite literally, a walking, breathing fortress of intimidation.
But what's truly fascinating here, and something our commentary really highlights, is not just Goliath's sheer physical might, as formidable as it was. Our source material reveals the deeper significance of what he carried. Alongside all that heavy armor, he also possessed a sacred Philistine sword. Now, this wasn't a conventional battle weapon. It was small, exquisitely crafted, ceremonial, maybe an arm's length, adorned with gems, ivory, gold, beautiful. Philistine lore claimed this sword granted authority from their gods over all Philistines. Whoever held it would be recognized as king, uniting their 5 tribes. So Goliath, by bringing the sword to the front lines, wasn't just initiating a battle, he was making a profound political and spiritual play. He wanted to unite his people and assert dominion over Israel. This detail fundamentally shifts our understanding of Goliath's true objective. He wasn't just a physical threat, but a spiritual and political one, challenging not just Israel's army, but its very identity. It's a powerful lesson, how true battles often have these unseen, deeper dimensions.
Right. And Goliath doesn't just stand there. He issues a direct challenge, a taunt that echoes through the valley, designed to demoralize. He cries out, "Why do you come out to set your battle in array? Am I not a Philistine, and you servants to Saul? Choose you a man for you, and let him come down to me. If he be able to fight with me and kill me, then will we be your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then shall you be our servants and serve us." It's that classic winner-take-all proposition, designed to crush their spirit before a single blow is struck.
And this commentary underscores that Goliath's challenge implicitly included taking his sacred sword, basically saying, take the symbol of my dominion over my fellow Philistines and over you Israelites. This wasn't just a physical fight for territory or status. It was a struggle for symbolic control and allegiance for the very soul of both nations. Goliath was truly putting it all on the line, daring someone to claim this potent symbol.
So what was Israel's reaction to this towering champion and his audacious challenge? The text tells us plainly. When Saul and all Israel heard those words of the Philistines, they were dismayed and greatly afraid. Just terrified. For 40 days, Goliath presented himself morning and evening, reinforcing that fear, paralyzing the army. 40 days of psychological warfare. That's a long time.
Yeah, intense. And amidst this national paralysis, the narrative introduces David, the youngest son of Jesse from Bethlehem in Judah. He's known as the one tending his father's sheep, seemingly far removed from this grand battlefield. His 3 eldest brothers, Eliab, Abinadab, and Shammah, had already gone to battle with Saul. Now, our commentary adds crucial context about Jesse here, revealing him to be an old man in the days of Saul and a prophet and saint, stricken in years among men, so a deeply spiritual figure. And regarding David's brothers, it notes that it did not please their father that they went with Saul, and they followed with all their might, betraying their family tradition of prophecy while David kept it. This raises an important question for us. We see a striking contrast in spiritual foundations within the very family David comes from, right from the beginning. It really highlights how spiritual choices can play out even within a single household.
Interesting. So David, the shepherd boy, is sent by Jesse, not as a warrior, but on a humble errand to bring provisions. He's given an ephah of parched corn and 10 loaves for his brothers, an ephah being, well, a substantial ancient measure, enough to feed many and 10 cheeses for their captain. He's also instructed to check on his brother's well-being. This places him right in the thick of the conflict, as Saul, the brothers, and all of Israel are described as fighting with the Philistines in the Vale of Elah.
And here's a fascinating detail our commentary reveals about those provisions, about why Jesse sent what he did. It explains that King Saul stopped eating meat after the incident in Michmas when he broke the law of God by not covering the blood of the sacrificial cows. End quote. For those unfamiliar, the Michmas incident was a pivotal moment where Saul, under pressure, acted impulsively and disobeyed divine instruction, further signaling a spiritual decline. So this seemingly small detail about the food subtly connects Saul's ongoing spiritual trajectory to the very needs of his army. It's a powerful, almost hidden layer of insight into the broader spiritual state of the camp.
Wow. So David arrives at the camp, leaves his baggage, his stuff, and immediately runs to greet his brothers. And as he talks with them, Goliath, the champion, emerges once more, speaking his familiar taunts. David hears them, and he sees the Israeli soldiers fleeing in fear. He also hears them speaking of the king's rewards for killing Goliath. Great riches, his daughter in marriage, and his father's house being made free in Israel.
Yeah, and our source material points out a critical flaw in Saul's approach here. It states that since there was no holy inspiration in that war to motivate his men, he needed to bribe them. This highlights the spiritual vacuum in Saul's leadership, contrasting sharply with David's later approach, which we'll see is rooted in something far deeper than material gain. It suggests that true motivation comes from conviction, not just compensation.
Absolutely. And this is where David's famous indignation truly ignites. He asks, "What shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine, and taketh away the taunt from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should have taunted the armies of the living God?" It's a question of honor, yes, but more importantly, a profound question of faith. He isn't really asking about the reward, he's asking about the insult to God himself.
But his older brother, Eliab, is not impressed at all. His anger is kindled, and he rebukes David harshly. "Why are you come down? I know your presumptuousness and the naughtiness of your heart, for you are come down that you might see the battle." Ouch. David, in his characteristic calm, simply replies, "What have I now done? Was it not but a word?" Eliab sees only youthful arrogance, not divine conviction. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, our commentary gives us incredible insight into David's mind at this moment. After hearing the despondent answers from multiple soldiers, David thought in his heart, "Behold, there is no spirit of God within this army." This isn't just a young man's bravado or impulsiveness. It's a prophet discerning the spiritual state of the nation's military. He's recognizing the underlying cause of their fear isn't just Goliath's size, but a deeper lack of spiritual resolve. It's a profound diagnostic moment for David.
It really is. So David's words eventually reach Saul, and he is brought before the king. Even in the monarch's presence, David's boldness is undeniable. He declares, "Let no man's heart fail within him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine," just like that.
Saul, of course, dismisses him immediately. "Thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth, and he a man of war from his youth." Saul sees only the physical disparity, the conventional military wisdom, and it truly emphasizes his own fear and inability to lead. He can't see past the surface.
But David isn't deterred. He offers a powerful testimony recounting how he defended his father's sheep from lions and bears. He confidently affirms his belief that the same God who delivered him from these wild beasts will also deliver him from Goliath. Saul, perhaps out of sheer desperation, gives his reluctant approval. "Go, and the Lord shall be with thee." It's almost as if Saul can't bring himself to believe it, but he has no other options left.
Right. And before the actual clash, Saul attempts to equip David with his own armor, a brass helmet, a coat of mail, and his sword. But David, in a critical moment of self-awareness and reliance on a different kind of strength, rejects it. "I cannot go with these, for I have not tried them." He puts them off, understanding that he must operate in his own unique sphere of spiritual strength, not try to mimic Saul's failed approach. It's a powerful statement about authenticity and divine calling.
So true. So David takes his staff in hand, chooses 5 smooth stones from the brook, places them in his shepherd's bag, and with his sling in hand, draws near to the Philistines. Goliath, seeing this young, ruddy youth approaching with only a staff, is filled with utter disdain. "Am I a dog," he sneers, "that thou comest to me with staves?" He curses David by his God and threatens to give his flesh to the fowls of the air.
And here, David delivers what becomes a core message of this entire deep dive. His response to Goliath is not just defiance, but a profound declaration of faith and purpose, revealing the true nature of the battle. He says, "Thou comest to me with a sword and with a spear and with a javelin, but I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast taunted. This day will the Lord deliver thee into my hand, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel, and that all this assembly may know that the Lord saveth not with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hand." It's just a stark, powerful contrast between physical intimidation and spiritual might. It completely reframes the fight.
It's incredible. And the action itself is swift and decisive. David hastens and runs toward Goliath, takes a stone from his bag, slings it, and strikes Goliath directly in the forehead. The stone sinks in, and the giant falls upon his face to the earth. The text explicitly states, "So David prevailed over the Philistines with a sling and with a stone, and smote the Philistine, and slew him. But there was no sword in the hand of David."
Okay, but hold on. No sword in his hand at that precise moment of impact. This is where our commentary brings incredible clarity. It's a game changer. Ariel Louis reveals what happened next. David ran up, stood over the fallen Goliath, and took his sacred sword, Goliath's own sacred sword, and drew it out of the sheath thereof, and slew him, and cut off his head therewith.
Wow. He used Goliath's own sacred sword.
Exactly. This is monumental. The Philistines didn't just see their champion fall, they saw their sacred sword, very symbol of their unity and dominion, taken and used against them by this Israelite youth. The text continues. "And when the Philistines saw that their mighty man was dead and that the sacred sword was in the hand of David, they fled." It wasn't just a physical defeat, it was a complete spiritual and symbolic dismantling of their power and identity. David didn't just defeat their champion, he seized the very emblem of their God's authority.
That changes everything. So with the Goliath fallen and their sacred sword now in the hands of the young Israelite, the Philistines break ranks and flee in terror. The men of Israel and Judah arise, shout, and pursue them, driving them all the way to Gai and Ekron, spoiling their camp in the process. It's a resounding, transformative victory for Israel, all sparked by one shepherd boy.
And our source material explains David's strategic dual actions right after. He takes Goliath's head to Jerusalem and puts his armor in Saul's tent. The head, brought to Jerusalem, was to frighten his most hated enemies who lived there, a shrewd strategic move even in victory. Think about that. And the armor, especially the sword, was put in Saul's tent so that Saul could control the Philistines. This reveals David's immediate, shrewd understanding of the ongoing political and spiritual ramifications, even while Saul is still officially king. He's already thinking like a leader, beyond the moment of triumph.
What's truly fascinating and quite tragic in a way is Saul's reaction to all of this. When he saw David go forth against the Philistines, he simply could not believe that it was the same David, the songwriter, musician, and prophet, who now appeared as a mighty warrior. He turns to Abner, the captain of the host, and asks, "Abner, whose son is this youth?" Abner, surprisingly, doesn't know. Saul then instructs him to inquire. Even after David returns, holding Goliath's severed head, Saul has to ask him directly, "Whose son art thou, thou young man?" And David answers simply, I am the son of thy servant Jesse the Bethlehemite. It's an incredibly poignant moment. The king, blinded by his own fear and lack of spiritual insight, couldn't recognize the divine hand at work in the very person he had hired as a musician, despite all the evidence. It speaks volumes about the nature of true sight versus mere vision.
So, what does this all mean for us deep divers? This narrative, deeply enriched by Ariel Louis's commentary, absolutely transcends a simple battle story. It's a profound exploration of true leadership, the transformative power of faith over debilitating fear, and the immense difference a deep spiritual foundation makes. It teaches us about discerning the unseen forces at play, which are often more significant than the visible ones. It highlights that the most impactful battles are often fought not with conventional weapons, but with conviction, purpose, and a reliance on a higher power.
We hope this deep dive into 1 Samuel 17 has given you some powerful aha moments and entirely new perspectives on a story you might have thought you knew inside and out. There's always so much more beneath the surface of these ancient texts, isn't there?
Indeed. This book, especially with this unique and deeply rooted commentary, provides prophetic guidance for modern life. It really shows us that battles aren't always fought with conventional weapons, and that true strength comes from divine connection and unwavering purpose. This particular chapter offers incredible insight into leadership and overcoming seemingly insurmountable challenges in our own lives and, well, in the world today.
Absolutely. This deep dive, like all our explorations, stands on its own, but we strongly encourage you to experience the full unfolding journey through the book of Samuel with us by starting from chapter 1. Don't miss out on the incredible narrative and these transformative insights.
And if you found value in this deep dive, please take a moment to subscribe, like, comment, and maybe share it with someone who needs a dose of inspiration. Your support truly helps us continue to bring these powerful insights to light for everyone.
And as we wrap up today, consider this. How often does the true power in any confrontation lie not in visible might, but in the unseen forces of conviction and purpose? Where in your own life might you be overlooking the slings and stones, those unconventional strengths or surprising opportunities that hold the true key to victory? Something to think about.
And as we conclude today's deep dive, we offer a prayer for the success of the IDF in the war against evil, that true light and justice may prevail.